Greetings, witches. It's been a while. Had trouble with my computer, unfortunately. But here I am. Missed you all and hope that you had a great Halloween. This year I was able to actually go to Smithville, which is in South Jersey, where I live, and actually celebrate with the Witches Ball. It was phenomenal. Unfortunately, I'm having lower back problems, so I could not stand or walk too much. But I did go. I didn't want to miss it because 2 years prior they called it off. They canceled it because of the rain. Now, this took place on October 25th, and this year, and it was a gorgeous day. It was a Sunday, and I drove down there only to find that, which I wasn't surprised, um, all the parking spaces taken. And there's this huge lot across the street before you enter the village. And I had to go around in circles and circles before I could find a spot. And then I said, do your magic, call for a spot. And I did, and I got one. Anywho, as I was making my way across the crosswalk into the village, of course, unfortunately, you always have the gatherings of people who think that they have to protest at witches' conventions because we're going to hell. We're sinners and we need to repent. And if we don't, our souls are going to be damned forever. And I just looked at these poor people and shook my head and thought, oh my goodness, you really don't get it. Anywho, they didn't stay long because no one was paying attention to them. But as I entered the village, oh my goodness, how beautiful the witches' costumes were. I've never, ever seen such intricate, classy costumes like that day. It was just unbelievable. Male witches, female witches, kids. People who aren't even witches were dressed up as witches because they just wanted to join into the fantasy of it. So it was a very nice day. They had a lot of games for the kids, prizes. They had a lot of their wares out there, which was very nice. Like I said, I didn't stay for the whole thing. There was much more to come, but I did hear rave reviews, and I'm not surprised. The people who put it together are exceptional. So, and they're witches. So, good for them. It was a wonderful day, and thank you very much for bringing that to us. I'm here tonight to ask you, what kind of a witch are you? Or do you know what kind of witch you are or not? It doesn't really matter, you know. But some people like to label themselves. I don't know if I told you, but I don't like labeling. I'm more of an eclectic witch. I take from whatever I feel resonates within me and I apply it. And so I will take from Wicca. I'll take from paganism. I'll take from certain religious organizations that I won't name, if it resonates with me, you know. And I'm a solitary witch, so I get to do my practice the way I see fit. Okay. And I don't know if I said this before, but there is no wrong way of being a witch and doing spells or right way. Now, let me just go back on that one. There is a method that you should follow if you want your wish to actually come to fruition. Um, everything starts with intent. That is the most important part of the spell, the intent. So the focus for your wish has to be on what intent you have. Okay. It has to be specific. And I use a lot of herbs, um, crystals in my rituals, oils that I make myself. And the crystals you can get, I mean, there are stores probably in your neighborhood or not that far away that are metaphysical stores, and they sell all these crystals. Now, while I love to support my community, sometimes I just can't afford their prices. So I have recourse to, like every one of you do, the internet. Amazon carries everything. Okay. So you can get these small little bottles. I'm trying to see where here they are, right here. These small bottles, if you can see them. This one here is, I need more lighting in here, is actually amethyst. And this one here is quartz crystal. Yeah, the colorless one. So the amethyst, the quartz crystal. The thing that I like about it is that I have a cauldron, a small one that I use. Let me see if I can bring that over without disrupting everything else. Let's see. Okay. Here it is. And you're not going to be able to see it like that unless I lower this down. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I have some nice articles on as well. Let me show them to you. I love this guy. I just love him. That's me sometimes. And without my incense, I would be lost here. You can see that. Okay. I'm terrible at doing this stuff. It's not my era. And my owl. Oh, I love my owl. Okay. And I have my little wand that someone gave me. So that's there. And my cellulite, okay, which is very good for cleansing your crystals. You can cleanse your crystals in so many different ways. For example, the power of breath. You hold the crystals in your hand, and with your intent, you blow real hard on it with your intent to clear it. Do that 3 times, and that should take care of it. You can also program your crystals that way. Okay. Again, with your intent and your breath. So here's my amethyst. Yeah. My citrine. Okay, my carnelian. My malachite. My little quartz crystal here, this one. And of course, you saw my cauldron. It's not a big cauldron, okay, but it works. What I want to do is get a huge cauldron and put it in my backyard. That should really wake up the neighborhood. Already, some of my neighbors look out like this. What is she doing blowing smoke there? What is she, It's okay. My neighbors are nice. They don't bother me. And I laugh, because I enjoy myself. What can I tell you? And that's which witches do, not just the spells, you know, we read a lot, we interchange and discuss with other witches, um, and we share information, you know, um, especially, you know, the younger wannabe witches or just starting out witches um, have questions and they don't know where to go to sometimes. Um, they can't always afford books. So I always say, go to the library, you know, go to the library and you'll find a lot of books there that you can read, take home and read. Um, and you really don't need that many books, okay? Because a lot of the things tend to repeat itself. It's just that the author is now putting a different twist on certain things, okay? But like I said, you go back to what your intent is. Now, let's say I'm a kitchen witch, and I guess I am to some extent. I love to create with my food. Um, I just finished making an Irish stew. And of course, I'm doing everything from scratch and I'm putting in, you know, fresh herbs and everything. And as I'm doing that, I'm stirring with intent and love for this food to turn out delicious, which it does. So there's your kitchen witch, okay? And you probably have everything you need in your cupboard, okay? Even in the morning, for example, when I get up, I'm a coffee drinker. I have to have my coffee or I'm non functional. What can I tell you? So, as my coffee is brewing, okay, and I'm getting, you know, the creamer out of the refrigerator, I'm thinking about what my intent is going to be for the day. So I pour my creamer into the coffee and I start stirring. And as I'm stirring, I'm putting my intent in my coffee for the day. Not bad. Okay. The other thing is starting out your day with the intention of gratitude. That's a big one, you know. Instead of saying, poor me, only this happens to me, you know. And I'm sure life is not easy. I'm not making, you know, fun out of that. Life is hard here on Earth School. But your whole way of thinking influences how you feel. So if you start off the day saying to whomever, okay, the powers that be, I am so full of gratitude for what I have. And then you might look around and go, I really don't have that much. That's that's not it. You have a life. You have shelter. Okay? You have a job. You have friends. You may even have a significant other in your life. You have animals that fill that gap if you don't have anyone else with love. Okay? There's always something to be grateful for. Grateful for another day that I'm living. Grateful that I'm in good health. Grateful that I have a job. Grateful for the neighbors that I have. Grateful for being alone. Mm. Yes, being alone. Not lonely, alone. Okay. There is something quite beautiful about being alone. And maybe it has to do with people in a certain age group. I wasn't always one that wanted to be alone. I mean, I was younger, you know, I was the life of the party at some point. Um, but after a while, that got pretty tiring, And then I got married and I had kids and I had responsibilities and, taking care of the kids, the house, the animals, the husband. Yeah. Working at home, trying to help out financially. So there was really no time, quiet time for me until one day I said, you must find quiet time. You have to, you're going to burn out. And I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of the kids, bring them home after school, give them a snack, sit them down and let them watch TV for half an hour, then homework. And then after that, they can go back and watch TV for half an hour while I go upstairs and lay down and meditate. I will tell you that meditation has saved my life, have saved my children's life. you know, as much as I love those little ones, they drove me nuts sometimes. I look back at it, today, and they're all grown. They have children of their own. And I kind of miss those days with all the craziness, baseball mom, basketball mom, football mom, women's auxiliary, you name it, I did it. Okay. And going through nursing school too. So I look back now and I say, how did I do it? My daughter, who has 3 children, will say to me when she calls me, she goes, Ma, with 4 kids, how on earth did you do it? And I said, meditation. Meditation. So, it's the little things. Take time out for yourself. Even if you can't meditate, okay? If you don't feel that that's for you, go someplace, put your feet up, close your eyes for half an hour, and just relax. Or if reading a book is something that makes you relax with a cup of tea, okay, or coffee, whatever it is that brings you that moment of relaxation, do it. Do it because you're going to need it, okay? And witches are like anyone else. We get burnt out, okay? And that's another thing I wanted to talk about, burning out. We don't have to burn out. If we stop and think for a moment, what are we doing to ourselves? What are we feeling? What have we experienced that got us upset today or made us fearful or made us feel anxiety? You've got to stop and ask yourself about these things and then do something about it. Okay? Another kind of witch that people aspire to is the Wiccan witch because of the female power being brought back into its place, which I follow some of the Wiccan rules, especially the Wheel of the Year. Let me show you what I have here. This is my Wheel of the Year. Okay. All right. This wheel was done professionally by hand by Mickey Mueller, the YouTube witch. She is, as she puts it, she's a writer, an author, a graphic artist, a mother, and she's a witch, and not all necessarily in that order. She is brilliant. She does such beautiful work. And if any of you have bought Llewellyn's calendars or yearbook or the almanac, a lot of times if you look in the index, it will show you who illustrated some of the pictures in the book or the calendar. Mickey Mueller, and Mickey is on YouTube. You should really try her out. I think you'll love her. I like her a lot. She shows a lot of new spells and old ones, but she's fun. She's fun. And you might notice about witches that a lot of us have a lot of physical difficulties. And I often ask myself that question. Why is that? We weren't born to be free of those things like anyone else. But I think because we take on so much that unless we do something to maintain ourselves, get rid of the negative energy, we can forget, and that negative energy can affect us physically. But also, I believe it's maybe from a past life also, because I know that I was a witch in a past life. So, yeah, it was many things. And a lot of you are too. A lot of you have past lives. There are a lot of old souls walking around. Just that some people don't know that, aren't in tune to that, don't believe that. But if you ever went to have a hypnosis regression, you might find out a lot of things that, or sometimes out of the blue, something will come into your vision and remind you that, oh, I know, I experienced that before. I was there before. I can't put my finger on it, but I know I was there before. Yeah. Okay, so we do come back, and we come back because we need to grow our soul. Okay. When I was growing up, I went to Catholic school, and we were taught, brimstone and fire, and that, this is, the stage where we have to prepare for the afterlife so that we go to heaven and not hell. And my belief is this is hell. We're in it, okay? But we also have heaven here too. It's within yourself. You can choose to either go to heaven or hell within yourself, okay? Heaven in yourself, meaning you're a good person, you do good things for other people, you don't hold grudges, you bring joy, whereas maybe there was misfortune. You're a healer, okay? You are an empath. All those wonderful things, okay, is your heaven within. So you can choose, and it's up to you. You have free will. So you don't have to look up in the sky thinking that's heaven. Heaven is inside of you, and hell is inside of you. If you choose to be a wicked, nasty person, you'll find it there too, So it's all about perception and how you feel. Okay. Witches don't necessarily have to tell anyone that they're a witch if they don't want to. It's based on how they feel. If they feel comfortable about saying that and come out, fine. If they don't have to. They can keep it to themselves. And understand this, not everyone understands what a witch is. And let me just say that a witch is different to every witch as well. Okay. We all have our different specialties. We all, there's a garden witch, there's a head witch, there's a dark end witch, which Someone said to me, "Well, what kind of witch are you? Are you a white witch or a black witch?" And I said, "I really don't identify as white and black or black. I use my energy for good only. So if you want to put a label on that because it makes it easier for you, a white witch." Now, can I be a black witch? Yeah, I could, especially if someone tried to hurt me or hurt my family. Us witches know right away when something is being sent to us. Okay. So I have the power and I am allowed to send back whatever evilness was sent my way to whoever sent it to me, the sender. Um, it doesn't happen often. It doesn't. But there are people out there who get off on being nasty. People who, and this affects you. You may not feel it right away, but it does. If you have someone who is very negative around you, could be a family member, which is kind of hard to get rid of, but or someone you work with, a neighbor. If that person is negative, it will drain you to be with that person. And this is what I say. I say, "I'm sorry that you're feeling this way. I hope you find peace within yourself. But understand that all of this negative talk is impacting on me and I cannot stay around it. So I wish you well. I hope that whatever it is that is really bothering you, you find peace with it and let it go." Someone asked me, "How do you let it go?" This person is dead now. And this person happened to be her mother, whom she did not get along with. And she felt that her mother was very vindictive throughout her life. And she held back all this negative thoughts about her mother. So I said, "Well, she's in the afterlife, so therefore, this is what you can do. There are a couple of ways you can do this. You can make believe that you're sitting across in a chair from your mother and you're facing each other. And you tell your mother everything that you bottled up inside of you all those years. And it's okay if you're screaming, yelling, carry on. It's okay. That's part of the therapy. And then when you're finished doing all that, listen to what your mother has to say. You may not agree with what she says, but now the ball is in your court. And you can say, "I'm glad we had this talk. I'm glad I told you everything that I bottled up inside of me. I want you to know I forgive you now and I love you and I have set myself free." And then get up and do a magical hug and kiss. And then shake all of that off. You go take a shower. Another way you could do this is have that talk. Go outside. If you don't have a yard, you could take a potted plant with dirt only in it, okay, a piece of food, and focus all that negative energy that you just had with your mother into that food and then bury it in the pot of dirt. and ask the earth to accept it and to beautify it and let it be food for the animals and place it outside or an area where it can do good. So those are a couple of ways that you can do that. It serves no purpose but to hurt yourself continuously, to hold on to grudges. Is life fair? No, life's not fair. It wasn't meant to be fair. Things, obstacles that we encounter are made for us to think of and to find a way to deal with it so that we can tackle what it is that we need to do in order for our souls to grow. The experience, once we understand what's going on within ourselves and we address it head on, we don't run for it, we address it head on, then we can let it go. And then we find peace. Now, not everyone is ready for that, okay? So if you are having problems with that and you know a witch that you can go to and sit down and have a talk and tell that witch everything that's going on, that witch can help you, okay? That's one of the benefits. Now, there are other witches that do healing. I'm one of those. Okay. When I say healing, we all heal in our own way. But I do Reiki. I send powerful messages with Reiki to those who ask me to do it. I never do a spell of any kind on anyone unless I'm asked to do it. Okay. Because that would be a violation of their privacy, and that is not good. Wicca says, for example, that do as I will and harm none. And I know, you don't sometimes mean to hurt someone, but you may inadvertently, through a misword or so. And you need to get rid of that. You need to make amends with that. And it's easier said than done, but you have accountability. And some people find it hard to say, I'm sorry, but it's necessary. It's necessary for you. It's necessary for the person that hurt you or you hurt, okay, so that you can now start off with a clean slate, breathe comfortably. Saying I'm sorry is not a big thing. It really isn't. I don't say be a doormat. If something hurt you, you may find forgiveness, but don't forget. Because if you do forget, it will repeat itself. Put in place an understanding with the person that hurt you that you will forgive them this time, but there won't be a second. Okay, put them on guard. Yes, I forgive you this time, but I won't let you do this to me a second time. I won't forgive you. And now they know where they stand and where you stand. And so you're not a doormat anymore. Okay. And there are witches that deal with crystals. I do that too. Now, the crystals are just a tool that I use to focus on. The power to change what I desire comes from within me. So I don't worship the crystal. I just use it as a tool to enhance my intent. Maybe, I use the quartz crystal because it really encompasses all the other crystals. And some people don't have money to buy all these other crystals. So a quartz crystal is fine. Okay, it does the job. I used to wear a quartz crystal necklace, but I found years ago this, I don't know if you can see it. Let me go this way. It's a pentagram and it has stones. And I remember one day I went to Five Below. I went in to get some things. It came out, went home. And I don't know how this happened. I don't remember. But I touched my chain and realized I only have one chain on. I wear two. I wear this one, which is you can't really see it, but it has a pentagram on it. Let's see. Yeah, it has a pentagram on it, and it opens up. Okay. So now I'm really upset that I lost this. The next day, I go back to where I parked, and it was on the ground waiting for me. I cannot tell you how happy I was. Now, I don't like to make objects something that I hold on to that I don't want to let go, because I believe objects come into our life and serve a purpose, like people come into our life and go and serve a purpose. But this pentagram has such a special meaning for me. It's like, yes, if I gave it away, I wouldn't feel bad about it. Okay? Because I would be giving it to someone for it to actually enhance their gifts. But to lose it, that bothered me, because what if it got crushed over by another car, then it served nothing. And I knew in my head, a voice was saying, get in the car, go back to Five Below, and go to that parking space, exact parking space where you were. And it was there. Another thing about witches is the more you practice, the more you do your meditation. You open up your third eye. And I need to talk about that because some people go, I have a third eye and it opens up. I'm not talking physically opening a third eye. It's your pineal gland. Okay. And what it does is it allows things to come into your vision. Or you may not be clairvoyant, you may be more sentient. So you feel things more. Okay. Or it's your hearing. Okay. That you're starting to hear things. So the more you practice, at being quiet, and just, sometimes people go, well, they tell me I got to clear my brain, but I keep on getting, all these things coming in and out, and I can't sit still. And, I go, your brain is never going to be quiet 100%. It can't. Okay. It wasn't made for that. If something comes in, when you're meditating, acknowledge it, let it go. Get back to meditating. If you do this, and I guarantee you, if you practice 15 minutes a day for 30 days, okay, and all of a sudden you missed a day, you're going to go, oh, I don't feel right. I didn't do my meditation. Okay. You now learned a new behavior. And that behavior has now allowed you to find peace, to maybe go inward and fix what's not working. You know, a lot of times feelings that were bottled up inside of you come out. Some people push them back in. And let me explain something to you about that. We all have things that we buried inside ourselves. Growing up, early years, teenage years, married, some of us, didn't have a good marriage, and maybe it was abusive and we had to keep quiet about it. Whatever it is, everyone has experienced things that they bottled up. If you don't deal with these issues, one way or the other, it's going to come up and affect you either physically, somatically, or mentally. You'll be on antidepressants, you'll be going to the psychiatrist, okay, you'll be in therapy for years. Be your own therapist. I'm not saying not to seek out a therapist. I think a therapist can be very useful. But then again, you need to shop around because you need to find a good fit. Not all therapists will be a good fit for you. I, for one, am my own therapist. I talk to myself. I fight with myself. Say, Ange, why did you let this happen? You know better than that. Wake up, smack out of it. Come on. Don't let that happen to you anymore. Or just talking about it. Maybe you have a friend that you can confide in. Be sure it's a good friend that's not going to go and blabber. But if you have no one, again, talk to yourself. Get it out there. Get it out there and say goodbye, release it, and feel peace and go on for a brighter, peaceful day. People are not always ready to confront their demons, okay, or their dark shadow side, okay? You can't force them. Forcing them can do more damage. It's sad because I've seen it happen. I've seen people with such negativity actually die very young because they could not get rid of this negativity that ate them up from inside out. It's sad. Now, for some people, going to see their priest and talking to their priest may be what they need and they feel better about it. Go do it. Or a pastor, or like I said, a friend. Whatever and whomever, this is going to help you get past what needs to come out and resolved. Do it. You'll feel so much better. You'll feel so much lighter. And you'll actually help your physical health so that Your immune system stays robust and not depleted. You don't wind up with an early heart attack because you kept all the stuff bottled up inside, or cancer. You know, stress is deadly. It increases your cortisol, which is a hormone. And if you can't get that cortisone down and it keeps on staying up here, that's not good. Okay. And a lot of times people's cholesterol is due to that stress. Okay. It affects your heart. Be kind to your heart. Talk to your heart. Love, embrace your heart. Feed it with love. Sounds crazy, but it works. It works. Nobody knows how much time they have here on earth. Nobody. No. One of the witches that I met at the witches' ball, excuse me, she was a very powerful witch. I could feel it. And the only thing that I did not agree with was that, as powerful as she was, there was a lot of negativity underneath that surface. And I stay clear from people like that. To be honest, my spouse now has passed 17 months. And so it's very quiet at home, except for the dogs. But I miss him physically because he was the love of my life. But I enjoy my quietness. I guess it's my age. 72. I look at things differently now. You know, you have such good creative witches, young witches out there that, oh my goodness, I wish I could have had the knowledge that they possess at that time. But it takes years of learning, years of practicing, years of, and let me tell you, there were times when I pulled away from it because it was overwhelming. But what it was is that I needed a break. And we all need a break. Whether it's a break from your job, whether it's a break from your marriage or your friends, we all need a break. You come back stronger, more resilient, better informed. There's a light, a switch that went off, and we learn new things. So taking a break away from your witchcraft does not mean you're a bad witch. It means you're a smart witch that knows what to do for her or himself to get back to being 100%. I was asked a question about, is it okay for me to talk about my craft with my children? If you and your husband are in agreement and it's not going to create a problem, yes. I mean, your children are going to pick up what you do, and they're either going to be interested in it or they're not. you know? So, and there's nothing wrong with witches and spells. If you look at a priest, what does he do at the Mass that he celebrates every time? He puts on his garments, he makes sure he has everything he needs to do his spell work, okay? Because that's what it is, all right? Same thing in a Protestant church with communing with Protestants, the same thing. It's not the tools. The tools only help to focus, okay? Again, it comes back to intent. That's what it comes back to. So if you want to be a good witch to yourself, okay? You can't be a good witch to others if you're not good to yourself, okay? Now, I'm a tarot witch. I do readings. I'm very good at them. But I know that this is not coming from me, okay? I have my guides with me, my angels, my spirit guides, and they help me through the reading. I don't take any credit for it. I'm just a vehicle for the information to come out. I look at my cards. I look at the symbols. I create a story. And my guides tell me I'm on the right track. So, yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to find your niche, okay? You could be, like I said, a Reiki witch. You could be a crystal witch, a garden witch, a head witch, the other one I wanted to say, a tarot witch, a numerology witch. I mean, then the things are indefinite, okay? Indefinite. You might, dabble in a little bit of everything, but you'll soon find out where your power is, okay? And to label yourself as a certain witch, don't jump into that right away. Find out what you really are good at. And then if you want to call yourself that kind of witch, then go ahead. Well, I'm going to leave you tonight with wishes that you may find peace, that you may find what kind of witch you are, that you take good care of yourself, okay? And look me up on YouTube, look me up on Facebook, okay, at the end of the Witch 13. And if you have questions, please email me. My email is KirschAngelina, the number 2.com, and I'll spell it K, capital K, IRSCHANGELINA 2 at gmail.com. Okay? Well, good night, everyone. So might it be, may the angels and your guides look down on you and bring you the joy and peace that you so deserve so that you can do the same for others. So might it be. Bye-bye.